maybe could have happened. But the police, the abuse that we all as citizens deal with every day from the police is, I reported a vehicle of mine stolen yesterday, and was pretty convinced that I had stolen it by the time I was done talking to the police. Just very, very confrontational. So I hope you enjoy the book, and I hope that we can take this conversation further.
I look forward to reading the book. I would disagree to the extent that your comment seems to lump all police officers together. I spent an entire evening last night going to several of the National Night Out Against Crime events all across the county. And at each event, there were district officers there who are intimately involved in their neighborhoods where they work. And I cannot tell you how many times individuals at those events last night came up to me to tell me how much they love their officers who work in their community, as well as our community prosecutors. And so, you know, if you had an unfortunate incident, I hate that, and it does happen, I understand. But I would not sit here and agree that it is some across the board problem in our police department today.
Yes, sir. Matt, real quick.
Yeah, even if you have civilians, even if you have a civilian review board, and you can't have somebody defending themselves in front of it, you can stop the police having to explain everything that happened, read the police report, and tell to a group of civilians and regular people when they help police openness. Isn't that the point?
When I called the police to make a complaint, and I went to, it was on Market Street, and I went to a building, it was a dark office, and a guy sat there at a card table and said, this is a waste of time, that they're not going to do anything about it. The police probably won't even be informed that they're being reviewed. It's very rare for anything to happen. This is the man that was in charge of the program, or certainly the only person in the office at that time. He said, I'll take your report, but you're spinning your wheels here. I too was at the police night out event last night with officers, and I live in Fountain Square, and I'm active in the community of Fountain Square. And we do have good police. Unfortunately, I still stand by, they're not, they've gotten, a suggestion was they've gotten away from serving. An example, a real easy example to explain is that your headlight's out, your tail light's out, the policeman pull you over, and he says, let me see your registration, driver's license, okay, fine. And then he says, your headlight's out. And you'd like to say, well, thank you, officer, I appreciate that, and tomorrow I'll go to Napa and I'll get it and we'll get it fixed. But instead he says, and here's a ticket for $85. And you're like, why don't you just tell me my headlight's out? I don't know my headlight's out or my tail light's out. Why don't you just help me instead of, I don't know why you have to give me $85, violation ticket, unless it's just to generate income to pay salaries, but that doesn't seem fair. And take that further and further out, and you'll see my point.
Amos, let me
Go
wait.
back.
Thanks. Number one,
So
sir, I don't know what the specific facts of your situation are, and I agree with Prosecutor Curry on if you went through an unfortunate circumstance, then I'm not going to weigh in on that at all because I don't know what the facts of it are. But your most recent premise about the headlight being out, your issue there, your quarrel there, I guess would be with the legislature. If the law should be that the motorist gets a one-time pass for not knowing that their headlight is out, then change the statute. The officers are tasked with enforcing the statute as written. And to my knowledge, there isn't a free pass for not knowing that your light was out. So that's where your quarrel needs to be. I also disagree vehemently with any kind of a characterization that we have some kind of rampant abuse going on with our police in this city. I think quite the contrary, as a testament to all the things we talked about at the beginning of this panel discussion. And then the final thing I want to point out is on this issue of citizen review. We have lots of citizen review. Grand juries are citizens. Federal court juries that these cases always go to are citizens. We have the Indianapolis Civilian Police Merit Board, which is a very diverse board of people that are hardly rubber stamps for the police. And they look at these issues very carefully and sometimes over 1 to 2 days listen to hours and hours and hours of testimony. So to take some kind of assumption from this that we don't have appropriate and extensive civilian review of what our police do would be wrong.
All right, they promised you 50 minutes, and the people I work for insist that I have to work. I don't know why. I'm having so much fun here. Larry Landis, Executive Director of the Indiana Public Defenders Council. Terry Curry, the Marion County Prosecutor. Bill Marsh, the Executive Director of the Indiana Federal Community Defenders, Inc. And Attorney John Kautzman of a whole lot of firms. And why is your name second and the other guy first?
Mr. Ruckelhaus is always first in my mind. I'll leave him right now.
And
Give them.
And I would just like to thank everyone for coming today and caring about these issues. It's important to be engaged.
Now, Gil Holmes has some important discussions, including what is going to happen on the next first Wednesday, talking about bullying.
Thank you very much, David.
And I want you to really know that these people volunteered their time. They're all very, very busy people, very much in demand. Amos, thank you. Just a second, Amos.
Double park, I don't want to get sick.
But in the event you enjoyed today's discussion, you should know that it's only possible through the work of volunteers and contributors and sponsors and members of the ACLU. If you're not a member, there's membership information in the back for you, certainly. And there's also information about other programs that we have, including the first two sessions we had this year, which were very well attended as well. One on the school, the issue of school reform, education reform, and the other one that we had, which was very well attended, also, what's one on? Immigration, which was very well attended actually. And the final thing I'd like to say is thank you to all of our panelists for coming today, for being part of this discussion. I have a little thing, a memento to say thank you to. Now, some of them may want to run the ACLU pin, some of them may not, but that's okay. The ACLU obviously supports the Constitution. That's what we do. It's a full-time job. The First Amendment is very important. The right of freedom of speech and open discussion, which is what this forum is all about. So again, I hope that you enjoyed it. The next session will be on bullying, which is a growing phenomenon in our community around the country. And we will hopefully have experts that will be able to discuss that issue. So look for that announcement as well. Again, thank you all very much for breaking into your lunch period to come down and spend some time with us. Thank you.